Welcome, friends and scoundrels. We decided to do another video for the Reaper Bones 4.
Because we didn't have enough already.
But I think this will actually be a little bit better for people who just want to know what people think, I guess. So we are doing a review about it. Plus, with the 4 videos, we didn't think a voiceover was going to be acceptable because it'd just be me repeating myself over and over again how cool this is. Oh, look into detail. And
so we're just going to talk about overall what we thought about it and a few of our favorites.
Yeah. So
overall, you want to start there?
Yeah. I like a few of the things they did with this one. They did go to their more gray material, as you can see, maybe see. You'll be able to see it in the other videos. Bones before was more white, which I think is the reason why they were calling it Bones, because it was bone white.
Right.
So they've got a new formula, I guess you could call it, for the material, the PVC material they use. And it's a little bit more sturdy. You definitely notice it with the dragon, because the first dragon that we had, it was similar to size in that, which he's not out here. I wanted to, but we don't have his wings on, and I need to put him on a base because his feet are wonky. That first dragon that we had, which is actually our son's, partially a little bit to the heat, but there's not a lot of support down low, so he just kind of droops forward a little bit. And this one seems like it's going to stand a lot better. His legs are a bit thicker too, but
hopefully the poor droopy dragon's just sad.
Also, there's quite a few of the miniatures that are made with the new Bones Black material, which it's not actually black, but it's more of a resin style material. It's quite a bit sturdier, and which is what they're doing for their free minis this year. But like the troglodytes here are in the Bones Black. It's a really rigid, kind of similar to anybody who plays Warhammer or War Machine, that style of, not quite as brittle either, but a little bit more rigid. There we go. The other big thing that they did, which I think helped a lot, was most of the miniatures came apart or came in pieces. So there's some assembly required. I know there are a few people who didn't appreciate that, but I did. It helped reduce some of the warping on the figures, which I've undone because we glued them all together to record the unboxing video.
Well, what I liked overall is most of the figures I feel had a lot more little details than the ones that came with the 3.
Yeah.
I mean, they've always got good details, but like these ones came with a lot of like little details. More so than
like
the previous ones.
The one Minotaur who's got like faces for his loincloth. Yeah. Which I thought was kind of neat.
It's just like there's more detailed pattern and stitching in the clothes. And I like the little details. That's my favorite part about figures. But I felt these ones were more detailed than the last one, and I really like that.
Could be a little bit of the change in material, because I feel like the new materials that they're using holds the detail better. There also seems to be a lot less mold lines, but that's not necessarily going to be a consistent thing throughout, because as they keep pressing and molding, over time it slips anyways. So maybe we just got lucky. But back to things also being in pieces. Like I said, that's often one of my complaints with Reaper's stuff, is because they'll put it together there and it seems like it's just done to push out as much, as quickly as possible. So things aren't always lined up, and with me doing it, I can manipulate the piece before I put it in to reduce the amount of gaps and stuff in the figure. So, and then, you know, as far as the figure variety, I guess, I mean, there was your typical heroes, there's, you know, the pieces for the Pathfinder collection, tons of monsters, which...
Like a good variety of monsters.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got the Dark Reach expansion because I like a lot of the Underdark monsters. I use those quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, Underdark monsters are cool anyways. I like them for... even in normal settings, just because I like creepy, weird things.
Yes.
I do try to, you know, because we play 5e, I try to keep it relative to the environment most of the time, but sometimes you just gotta throw in a good Eldritch.
Well, mine's homebrew. I
Beastie.
use whatever I want.
Yeah. But it also, it's handy because, you know, you already know, but we've already been in the Underdark once, and we will be making a return there at some point. So
It's good. I like the Underdark. We don't play there enough. So, your favorite figures?
I'm gonna start off with these armored goblin guys because they were kind of neat, and I wish I'd thought about it a little bit more because we just got that weird goblin archer in the Magic Mini Mystery Box, and I didn't think he would fit in anywhere, but he actually kind of looks like these guys, so that's a bonus. But it just, they're a little bit different for a goblin because goblins you don't normally think of as being armored and more capable fighters, so I might have to homebrew something up for these guys.
I've got some homebrew goblins. So I really liked the Phase Cat. Not necessarily, well, I do like the figure, but not necessarily the figure. It's just, it's my favorite D&D monster is the Displacer Beast. So I'm glad to finally have one. So that's why he's one of my favorites, just because he's one of my favorite monsters. It's not really much to do. It's not really much to do with the figure itself. He's just one of my favorites, and I'm really glad to have him.
Yeah. One of my other favorites, which you've already kind of seen, were the troglodytes. The only thing I found a little bit disappointing is that it... I wish there's more that came in the set. Just because 3's not really enough to do much with. Because troglodytes are kind of like the goblins or something. I think they're a little bit stronger, but they're kind of like bugbears or goblins or hobgoblins of the Underdark. There's something that should be found all over the place. And like I said, that's one of the ones that came in the Bones Black style material.
So another thing I liked is not necessarily a single figure, but these heroes. Just the different heroes. I liked their shields. There's one with an owl on it, and this one has dragon of some kind. And this one has chickens. It's brave Sir Robin. I did like the individual markings on all their shields. I feel like it gave all the heroes more personality.
It does. That's something I always try to impress in my painting, is giving each thing its own little touches.
Yeah, so I really liked that in those pieces. And I don't like the wizard himself. I like his little...
He's got his dragon familiar.
Yeah, his dragon familiar. I like the inclusion of the familiar. I don't play wizards, but if I did, I would use him. But my favorite figure from the entire thing is this kind of psionics wizard. She's just... I don't know why. She's my favorite, but she is.
It's an interesting sculpt because she's actually floating in the air.
Yeah.
And not dressed in your typical, I don't know what...
wizard garb.
Yeah.
She's kind of got, harem pants and various belts and layers.
Yeah, kind of a little bit of an Arabic style clothing look to her.
Yeah. So whether I use her as a PC or an NPC in my game, I am going to use her, and a lot. I'm going to make her important because I love her. She's my favorite in the entire thing. And the other thing is these small world figures. I think they're cute, but particularly our kids really like them. they want to paint them up and use them as figures in their games because of the cuteness of them.
They're the chibi style, which kids really are drawn to.
Yeah, so they're really excited to have these painted up and use them. I think I might let them paint their own. To let them do it because they're bigger too, so it's easier for them to practice painting on. So I do really like these for the kids. I mean, I wouldn't use them in any of our games, but the kids are excited to use them.
Well, I was thinking too, which a game that we wanted to try to get into is Arcadia Quest, so they'd be good stand-in figures for that. I was going to make a diorama with them and the bones from the last, Mr. and Mrs. Bones from the last set.
Oh yeah, that's not going to happen?
Well, I guess we'll have to get a second set then. I can do that as we're gonna need to get to that price point.
we're honestly lucky that they're all still here. Your son keeps taking his.
So back to the rest of mine were the Frost Giant Raiders. I mean, I wanted all the giants anyways as add-ons. Just because we're playing Storm King's Thunder, so we're going to need them. And it's a nice, cheap way to get a lot of figures, because they're like $10 for each set or something like that, $10, $15, and they're going to end up being about $10 a piece down the road. So, and another Bones Black one. But I just like the way these ones look.
I like, particularly about him, I like his moose for scale.
Yeah.
I don't mean him. That's a her.
Yeah, they're both hers.
They're both hers. I'm sorry.
And this neat Winter Wolf, which might become a ward. I don't know. He might be a little bit big. But those were my fears. I mean, I like most all the giants. I got the fire one because we're going to need fire giants. His sculpt's a little bit weird. But that's neither here nor there. We still got it. So there's a lot there. Looking forward to Bones 5.
Already? You just got this one.
It wasn't too long after Bones 3 came out that they launched 5.
4.
4. Whatever. I don't know my numbers. So we'll see what that has.
Well, you got to get all these painted.
I've still got most of Bones 3 that I have to paint, plus all the things that we have to get for our games.
You have to get all of these painted before you're allowed to get 5.
So, down the road, I'm sure I'll get to it. I need to stop being lazy.
You do. Because I want this one painted.
Do you have any other thoughts?
I don't. I liked this one. I liked it better than 3. Like, honestly, you can put painting 3 on the back burner, get this painted.
Yeah.
And then we'll go back to 3.
I think this one definitely had a lot more useful stuff. Some additional Cobalt sculpts is nice. The other set of goblins that we got were also in Bones 3, so that was kind of weird. So I've got a ton of those. At the very least, maybe I'll paint them in different colors, like different flesh tones. For, because mountain goblins or swamp or whatever.
Well, if you got hundreds of goblins, you can let your kids practice painting on some.
Yeah.
So they have a use.
I would like to see in the next one the Pathfinder style goblins again, because those are my favorite.
I do like the Pathfinder style goblins.
Get some different sculpts out of that, because like I said, those are my favorites, and I like having a bunch of different little things.
But overall, yeah, I really like this one. I was really happy with it.
Yeah, I'd also like to see some of the more drastic character things, like Dragonborn and like the Debaxi.
Furbolg would be nice.
Oh yeah, some Furbolg, some half-orc style figures.
We did get a few gnomes in this one, which I like.
Yeah, there's a lot of gnomes, which they're supposed to be the Darkreach gnomes. I'm not going to try to pronounce the name because it's been a while since I've looked at it. But they could be used for normal gnomes if you wanted to, because a lot of them are armored, so you could have this cool little gnome fighter. So yeah, and little people, it's hard finding a lot of little people figures for certain things.
It is.
Maybe some more conversion kits too. like with a lot of stuff in it instead of just in, you know, a couple different tails or whatever, like their old ones are. Just because it's nice to be able to modify and make things. So that was our thoughts on the Reaper Bones 4 Kickstarter. Again, looking forward to 5 sometime.
Right.
Hopefully when we can.
Did you get Reaper Bones? What did you think of it?
Or, you know, looking back, if you look through the actual unboxing videos, you know, let us know what some of your favorite figures were.
So do all the things that you're supposed to do.
Like comment, subscribe, share this around, turn on the notifications. Babbly, babbly, blah, blah, blah.
And live to roll.
And live to roll.